All right, I came to an idea for a video. By the way, we are just entering evening. Good evening. Okay, so the idea for the video was actually I originally got it by thinking about old '90s days and different things I was doing or early 2000, whatever it is, and I came upon a bit of a moment. Now okay, so originally it started with music, right? I was introduced to music very young. Fortunately, Napster came out when I was very young, and we could download music from Napster. So I was able to hear everything that I wanted to hear. Whatever was good, I would download it and hear it or listen to it, even if it was from 80s, 90s, whatever it was. I had to download it, I had to listen to it. And well, that's fine. So, that being said, I was thinking to myself, well, what was the scene like for me? And I didn't have an actual scene, not the way I do today. I mean, today I do something and it's like 10 other people are doing it too, and we're all connected, we're doing our thing. You know what I mean? That today's a different day. But prior to last Christmas, or prior to New Year's of this year, pretty much, I lived a certain kind of life, and that's what I wanted to talk about. I'm thinking about like Easy E. I remember being very young, maybe 12, 13 years old, listening to Easy E, even in the morning when I get up. Woke up quick, about noon, at about noon, just thought I had to be in Compton soon, right? So like songs like that, cruising in my 6'4" and all that stuff. And the funny thing was that I remember, I'd be honest, I didn't really have any friends that did anything for me. None of my friends did anything for me. What would happen is that I had made a friend in, I think it was at the end of sixth grade. I had made a friend or a couple of friends. And by chance, all those friends that I had made, or not all of them, there were two friends that I had made who lived in the same neighborhood, who ended up being in my class in seventh grade. So we got to hang out together. All three of us made the basketball team together for the junior high team, for the seventh grade team. And so we spent time together, and we would always, every class all day, we would be talking to each other and whatnot. Now, I never had friends that did anything for me. No friends ever did anything for me, period. You know what I mean? I remember, so these guys lived a little bit ways off. So what I would do, I had a little red bike, and I had tires that were almost flat or like half flat. So it was not only a small, like it was a bike that they bought for me when I was 8 or 9 years old. Now I was like 12. And I would have to ride on those horrible tires all the way to these guys' neighborhood to go see them in the summertime, because it was summertime and I had nothing to do. Like, literally, I had nothing to do. I didn't used to talk to any of the kids in my neighborhood, because I didn't want to. So I didn't talk to any of the kids in my neighborhood. So I would ride my shitty little bike all the way over there. My legs would be done by the time I got my legs would be very exasperated by the time I got there. They were not in the best of shape by the time. So I get there, and literally we'd hang out for hours and hours, right? Now there were other kids too we were familiar with in the neighborhood as well. So this guy had a multi-tap at his house. A multi-tap was back then because the PlayStation had two slots to play two players. You put in a multi-tap and then you could play four players. So you could play you could play a shooting game, four players, or you could even play WWE wrestling. You could play the wrestling multiplayer, so four people could play wrestling, could play a tag team, for example, or Royal Rumble or something like that. So I go there and spend about like I get there around 12, 1 o'clock, noon, 1 o'clock, because everybody would get up late in the summer. Get there about 12 to 1 o'clock, leave by like 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, and go back on my shitty little bike. And I kid you not, they never, I go to this guy's house to play video games there. He never gave me any food. He never gave me anything to even drink. Okay, he wouldn't give me anything. I go there, and the only thing I could get was a glass of water. That he was cool with. He said, "Dude, you know where the glasses are. You know where the sink is. You can go get that water whenever you want." So all I really got was a glass of water, and that's it. So kind of really, you're gonna start understanding level zero now. You know what I mean? You're gonna understand level zero. Literally just a glass of water, right? So that was all I had to do in the summer. So I'd go over there every now and then. The reason was one, well, I had a multi-tap for my PlayStation too, but the reason was that, well, it wasn't even mine anyway. But the reason was that he had a basketball net. And I didn't have a basketball net. I wanted to get one. My neighborhood had made we had a lot of old people in my neighborhood, and they had made a rule that you could not have a basketball net because they felt that the ball, when it bounced, it made too much noise. So they did not allow us to have a basketball net. So I had to go all the way to his place to play basketball if I wanted to play. I used to go when I was younger. We had a community center and they had outdoor basketball nets, and they had removed those. So we couldn't play for free anymore. So I couldn't play basketball there anymore. So I had to go to this guy's place to play basketball. Anyways, he never gave me anything over a glass of water, to be very honest. All the time, like I had known him for about 2 years. And every summer I hung out at his place for 2 years, from 12 to 14 years old. He wouldn't give me anything more than a glass of water an entire day. You know what I mean? And if you heard me now, you'd probably be like, oh yeah, me and him were really good friends. And his mom like, oh yeah, he was a really nice kid. He was my favorite son's friend. You know, it's bullshit. Like, you guys didn't even give me anything over a glass of water, man. So that's what I don't like about people. Anyways, that's done. That's said and done there. I started it because I was thinking about them, because I told them about some songs. They were also listening to them, and they would know the songs. But there was nothing really happening with it, and that's my point, and that's what I'm gonna get at, is that I was genuinely, not only was I in the shadow world, I was at level 0 or level 1 maximum. Now in the shadow world, it meant that I had to be part of a world without being seen being part of a world. So nobody could know that I was part of a world. The music I listened to, the things I did, the way I did things, the way I learned things, no matter what it was, it had to be, it was done in a way where I could sense it, but not enough to the point, as a child, not enough that it was in my conscious mind and that I would repeat it and anybody would pick it up. You know, and the fact that I was a bit of a lonely kid, there was no suspicion at whatsoever. There was no suspicion to, oh, what is this kid capable of? But there was no suspicion at all. I was a bit of a lonely kid, and there was no really, no one would have ever guessed that I was part of the shadow world. And to be honest, even if I said it, nobody would have believed me, right? It wasn't until I hit about 19, 20 that people started actually coming up with stuff and really believing stuff. It was like, even the people from before, they'd be like, yeah, I think that's possible. Do you think this could be, I seriously think it could be possible. And as I got older, the possibility just increased and increased and increased. I'm telling you, I was on the radar from federal. Okay, by the way, my bank robbery crime was a federal crime. Okay, it was with the feds, all right? You know what I mean? Okay, so that's some real shit. And I have the transcript on there. It was some real shit, man. That was a federal crime. All right, you'll hear that in rap music. Tupac, the federalities want to see me dead. They put prices on my head. Whatever. The feds is watching. That's another lyric from Tupac. And that's also 90s songs that I was listening to. Yeah, I did a federal crime. I was officially on federal watch. Okay, all right. Okay, so going on. So nobody would suspect it. But I was living a life, and I knew it because I would just start coming up with things. I'd be like, okay, I got to do this now, I got to do that now. And I was just like, oh, I just automatically know it. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just automatically doing all the things I have to do. But that was when I realized. I thought back to then at those songs. I was like, dude, I wasn't part of any actual scene. It wasn't like we had lowriders coming in and I was bouncing up and down in LA and in LBC and Snoop Dogg's neighborhood or wherever, Long Beach, California. I wasn't doing any of that. I never was on any scene at all. Even when I got older, I wasn't on any scene. It just became more believable to people that I was, in fact, in the shadow world, because they started seeing I was kind of capable of certain things. And sometimes they were getting a little bit, they thought things were getting a bit scary with me. But that was the deal. You know what I mean? And yeah, that's it. That really, the first time, so I think I was about 20, 21. And I talked about how I saw that dude. This dude heard about me all the way from LA, from Los Angeles, right? And he was an actual gangbanger. He was like a senior gangbanger, a serious senior gangbanger. And I see him at I see him, I park my car and I see him and he's sitting there, right? And he's kind of glaring at me quite a bit. The glare was more like he was suspicious, or he thought that I was part of something worse. And he was trying to figure out what was going on, but he had a very, very suspicious look on his face. He looked dangerous, to be honest. He looked like a dangerous guy, and it was very suspicious, and it was kind of looking at me. I didn't really get into it with him on any basis, but I never used to get into it with anybody at that time. So I just went along my way. I was going to a restaurant, and he's parked there. He parks there after I parked there. Yeah, so I noticed him there. Now, some people would say that this guy was a legend in his gang in the Los Angeles area. Now I see him. I see a guy just like him again. Guess where I said that when on my last day when I'm about to get bail from court and I'm in the holding cell. There he is again. But now he's a big fat kid, a younger kid. He's a big fat kid, and he's going on about his charges, how his charges are so serious. He's looking, like he did this, he did that. He even started saying one of the same charges that I had, and he's talking about this and that, you know. But I will tell you, as of some point, I know I got him. And I know that's not right because he wasn't actually really threatening me, going against me or anything. It was just out of a pure competitive nature, because I wasn't the only person I was competing with. I was competing with a lot of dudes. But that was an example of when I saw somebody who was from, I don't know if he was from the shadow world, but quite possibly he was. But interacting with him, that kind of, that also assured me that there was something going on. There was some kind of shadow world. You know what I mean? So that was the case. Yeah. I'll be honest. I mean, I'm pretty damn sure I destroyed the guy. But that's all. That's all aside from the point. That's not a big deal. But it's not a big. But I know I destroyed the guy. I'm pretty sure that one thing I do know is that he's dead as of this point. How he died, when he died, I don't know any of that. I know he's dead, and I know that prior to being dead, he probably caught a bit of a confrontation and kind of zigged back, instead of going forward and I want some, he just kind of started slowly just zigging back, like I don't want anything to do with this. You know what I mean? So that's the deal. Let me do a second video.